Quickly, this is our last round, which is fun round, and it needs to be quick, and no one can copy their answers. I know we have spoken in real estate, people say कि ये जो कर रहा है मैं करूँगा, but not in this round. This is specifically made for marketeers like you. So let's begin. First, what's the most creative marketing campaign you have ever seen in real estate? You can quote your competitor if you want, but
I think Rustamji's campaign about childhoods in Thane, that was nice.
Yeah. What about you?
So for me, I would talk about one of the campaigns which we did from Common Floor. Back then, 2012, we named it as Property Key Home Delivery. So we clubbed 4 industries together. That was one developer side, then banking side, legal side, and interior side. We created a cluster and we went to 500 apartments across cities in India. So home buying happened at their vicinity.
Yeah.
So that was a massive campaign, and that's how the RW activation got, its popularity. I would say.
Nice. Virtual tours or in-person visit? What's more effective?
In-person visit any day.
In-person visits.
Okay. Which social media platform gives you the best ROI?
Google.
Meta.
Okay. What's the biggest myth about real estate marketing?
That it can be sold from home.
It can be sold from home, meaning?
Like from home you can buy it without any visit, without any touch and feel.
Okay.
That it's boring and home buying is only for oldies.
Okay. If you had to choose data-driven marketing or gut instinct, what would you?
Data-driven marketing is more effective in my way.
Okay.
Both, because data will show you what you want to see a lot of times. You have to have that gut call and go ahead with it also.
Okay. Print ads or digital ads, what's your preference?
Digital ads. Print ads have only a shelf life of a few hours.
I would copy his answer. Digital ads.
Okay.
Yeah. So
with the same reason.
With the more sustained effort, with the same amount of money, I can sustain
and
that.
And the cost, exactly. The cost, yeah.
True. What's the most unusual property feature that you had to market?
Unusual property feature, it could be a utility without a washing machine point.
Okay.
So I did not understand the utility of that utility, to be very honest, but had to sell. That was a kind of a protrusion.
Wow. Okay. What about you?
I can't think of anything right now.
There was no such feature that was impossible, because utility without, as you said, electronic point, I don't know how you sold. That's why he's a marketeer. There was no feature like that you had to sell.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Luxury or affordable housing, where's the most marketing challenge lies in? Definitely
luxury.
Luxury, okay.
I would say it's affordable because the segment is huge and it's that hard-earned money, right? So it's very difficult to take that 40, 50, 60 lakhs out of their pocket as compared to, somebody is having a disposable income of 5 crore and they need to shell out 2-3 crore. So that's the challenge.
So what's the most valuable skill for a real estate marketeer?
It's to understand the customer's psyche.
Okay.
It's the most important. Marketing starts with market. So you need to understand the market.
He should be a sales guy before he gets into marketing. He should get on the field and understand how sales happen and how customers react and behave and want things before he gets into marketing.
So the best advice that you have ever received and the worst advice that you have received but you haven't implied, but it still makes you laugh when you look back?
The best advice that I have received was to, even though I was always keen on marketing, but to actually do sales for a while. And I totally can relate to customers when I'm sort of thinking about marketing campaigns. And the worst advice was that if you venture into sales once, then your career is over and you're going to be stuck in sales forever.
Okay. I won't ask who told you that, but
So the best advice, which I still follow very religiously, is even though you are at whatever position, you need to be in the market. You need to see what your customers are saying, which I still do as a person. There is no point when this learning process ceases, right? So it always progresses. So that's the best advice which I received back.
Students of marketing for life.
Yeah, it's like almost 14-15 years back I received this. I still follow that. That's the best advice, and which has been very fruitful in my career. The worst advice is somebody told almost 5-6 years back that you are the champ, you can do everything from the desktop itself. You don't have to learn anything new. So I said like, yeah.
So which is the book, or I would say even podcast or movie, can be any one, which still inspires you and you want to go back if you have a bad day or good day?
So I remember reading a book called Who Will Cry When You Die?
Yeah.
So that gives me a lot of introspection, that probably reflects or probably hits you a bit deep, that who you are, what you're doing, and what is your purpose of life, and who you are surrounded with, and who you choose as your circle. So I would suggest if anybody can read this book who have not read, it's a good perspective driver.
Yeah.
I love the autobiography written by Richard Branson. And I can read it multiple times over. It's about the sheer determination of that person, and when he's got into sectors which he has no understanding of, but it's just the sheer passion. And a modern version of that would be the Elon Musk book, which is again the same thing, when he's sort of realized that why do we do certain things in a certain way, and we can sort of break the ceiling. And it's a testimony that every day he's doing something amazing.
So given a time where you need, or where you can have your dinner or engagement for an hour or more than an hour with a historical figure or someone, an icon from real estate, who would that be?
I would say Dr. Niranjan Hirandani. I have very briefly seen him and been in the same room as him, and there is a certain aura that he carries. And the way he speaks, and I've seen so many interviews of his, and the way he speaks, it's there's so much learning from a man who's so seasoned on a daily basis. So I wish I could have a meal with him and discuss things and learn so much from him.
Yeah.
So from the real estate sector, I already had the privilege of having my share of time with Mr. Anuj Puri, whom I really admired and kind of have worked with him directly while I was with Narang. So from the real estate sector is this, but from a historical figure, I'll still choose Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Heard him speak, heard him talk, heard him engage with the young crowd, young minds, the way he does. Would definitely have loved to spend some time with him and pick his brains on something.
Nice. So what's the best way to handle negative feedback from a client?
Is to react on it. If the feedback is genuine, respond to it. Be responsible and respond to it instead of ignoring and deleting the comment or from your mind. I would say facing any negative feedback is more impactful than doing anything else.
True.
I think it's about understanding that person's perspective. Is there anything constructive that comes out of it? Definitely, if there is, then you should take that and improve on that. If it's just someone just throwing a stone at you, then just ignore.
Okay. What's the one thing you always look for in a marketing report?
As many greens as possible, I would say. Sales. I would say how many units sold. Okay. That's something that I look at in a marketing report.
For sure, what's the conversion? So the metrics, there are certain parameters which we do. Let's say before conversions, what is my walk-in to booking conversion? What is my lead to walk-in conversion? So these are the matrices which keep floating across in my mind, because everything else will fall into the place. Right? So if I'm spending 1 rupee for 3 sales, if all the matrices or the funnel management is proper, things will be done. So I focus on that particular piece.
So if you wouldn't have chosen real estate as an industry, which industry would have been currently now if given time?
Media.
Media.
Yeah,
anything specific in media?
So I would love to showcase something which is happening today, probably, and showcase an unbiased view of it. So that's always intrigued me. I worked in media segment for that matter, but it's always been there in my mind that maybe somewhere you can have something which reflects the the raw version of
Raw
it.
version, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
I like to imagine myself in different verses, I would say, if I had to. So growing up, I was a avid gamer. So I'm thinking in one world where probably Rishi is a gamer still and probably working on games and creating games. And another world, I would say that when I did advertising, I loved advertising. So possibly there's another Rishi somewhere out there who's just still doing a lot of advertising.
Nice. So, how would you describe your leadership style in 3 words?
Inclusive, you have respected, and I would say clarity of thought.
Okay.
For me, it's approachable, simplicity, and innovative. So these 3 are my way of working.
Nice. And what are the 3 things you look for your team when it comes to hiring or being part of your particular team?
So 3 things is clarity of thought is something which I definitely look for. Second part is intent and attitude. So for me, intent and attitude are primary. Skill sets can be acquired.
True.
So that's what, and in fact, all my second line in command and everybody knows this fact, boss. If I'm hiring somebody, I don't want the dude of the world. I need somebody who wants to become the dude of the world.
As a hustler. Oh, good.
I agree with him that there is that hunger has to be in that person. If he doesn't have a skill set, he can learn it, but that hunger from within has to be there to prove himself or prove herself. And a little bit of someone who can see different sides of things, someone who's an out-of-box thinker, whether that advice or that idea may be relevant in a certain case or not, but someone who likes to look at and explore things in their own manner. Yeah, but that hunger has to be there. At whatever stage you are, that hunger has to be there within.
So lastly, if you could give one piece of advice to your younger self starting in real estate marketing, what would it be?
Whatever I'm doing right now, I wish I could start 10 years back is what I'm looking at. And the second part is, as a sector, whatever we have realized that this is what customer needs. So I'll just flip the, I would say the verse. Today we are at the buyer's market. Initially, if you see, it was a seller's market. I wish it was reverse. So that's how, if we could market ourselves back then, real estate would have been somewhere else.
So your advice to the younger self is to make sure that happens first.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
My advice would be that to keep innovating constantly, and it's absolutely okay to be the first in trying something out, and to just it's all right. It's a very Me Too industry, and everyone is looking at each other. So it's absolutely okay to not look at the others and do your own thing.
See, finally you agreed. It's a Me Too industry. Something has been trying to avoid. You finally said it. Thank you so much for coming today in Marketing Think Tank podcast. I'm sure our viewers would have learned a lot, especially by understanding how these marketing strategies work, and also understanding about those case studies we've spoken about, and understanding how TAM is defined and when it comes to certain projects, right? So thank you so much for coming in today. And yes, looking forward for all those projects more. Yeah.
Thank you for
so
hosting.
much for
Thank you
having
for
us
hosting.
here.
And I must say it's a brilliant initiative from your side.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.